Hello dear viewers, Sexnick here. I hope you're having a great time today, and this video is about the green-black version of the Elusive Tormentor One-hit K.O. idea, inspired by one of our viewers, Ms. Hilkerson. So thank you for your ideas. So he tried to do the one-turn kill, but I think it's very hard to pull out because we have only 2 copies of the Elusive Tormentor to play with, and of course that means that the deck is going to look very weird trying to find the Elusive Tormentor. Today we are going to be looking at the green variant. The idea here is to flip the Elusive Tormentor into the Insidious Mist, hexproof, indestructible, can't be blocked. We attack with this and then flip her back into the 4/4 and buff the numbers until we kill the opponent. So let's see how the deck is going to try to find the cards. So we have now this variant, 3 copies of Neglected Heirloom that transforms next to the equipped creature, providing a lot of power. Then we have Implement of Ferocity, an artifact that lets us draw a card and also places a +1/+1 counter on one creature, and I found that this ability, not being optional, can backfire. If the opponent plays creatures and you don't, then you are forced to place the counters on the opponent's creatures, and that could be a bad move many times. Primal Bellow, 1 copy, but very strong if we have lots of forest under our control, giving the target creature +1/+1 for each of those. Dustwatch Recruiter, just for the sake of funding our creatures faster, we can activate, pay 3 to activate and find the cards. Happens to transform into Krallen Horde. That is nice if we can have a reduced cost on our creatures, but it's not the relevant aspect. Notice that it will also transform the Neglected Heirloom if we need another plan B. Then Elvish Visionary, just a cheap creature that helps us draw in, and also note that it costs 2 mana, and that is relevant for later. Primal Druid, also 2 mana, and when this one dies, we can search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, and also we are running quite a handful of buff spells, so this guy has no defender on it, so it could be attacking, and we may at some point we maybe can buff this guy to do some damage. Then Implement of Malice, another artifact to draw cards and also forcing the opponent to discard something, can help us stay longer times in the game. Titanic Growth, 1 copy, just in case, 2 mana, giving 4/4/4. That's pretty strong. Then Nissa, the best green card in the whole game, that helps us find another forest from the library, and if we have 7 lands or more, she is going to transform into Sage enemies that can reveal cards and accelerate our mana, or maybe at desperate times we can make a 4/4 token. And the ultimate is nice if you ever pull this, but the first 2 modes are already very strong, so the game most of the time ends way before you get to the 7 and the ultimate ability. So Tireless Tracker, also the second most powerful green creature, I guess, and this guy, this is a girl. Well, who knows? Who knew this one was a girl? Well, it gives a clue when a land enters the battlefield, and when we sacrifice the clues, she gains the counters, so super strong. Lifecrafter Bestiary, more artifacts. And this guy, just by standing there, gives us a scry on the beginning of our upkeep, and we can pay 1 green to draw additional cards when we play some creatures. And Rona's Monument, a very strong buff card. The only downside is that this guy is a legendary artifact, so we can only have one copy at the time on the battlefield, so we're just running one. And when our green creatures cost one less to cast, and we can buff any creature with +2/+2 and trample when we play a creature. Then we have Eldritch Evolution, the very handy card. For 2 green and 1 generic, we can sacrifice a creature and find a more stronger, more powerful creature, and that means that we can tutor the creature that we want from the deck. And since the Elusive Tormentor costs 4 mana, if we sacrifice a 2 mana creature, then we are set. This is Pilgrimage, just for the sake of ramping a little bit more. Also, it's going to help the tireless trackers from time to time. Then the Elusive Tormentor, Explosive Vegetation, just one copy, but just in case we are short on black mana for some reason and we have to find or die, we can use this card. Then Berger's Gearhulk. From the many options in green to place counter, this is one of the strongest. It's a 4/4 artifact creature, and when this guy enters the battlefield, we can distribute 4 +1/+1 counters. So the ideal target would be the Elusive Tormentor or the Transformer into the Mist. So it's pretty cool. We can also target some other stuff in case of need. Then Temillo's Journal, just in case if we haven't already found the cards, we can sacrifice 3 clues and search for the card that we are missing in our hand. Notice also that the transformation of the Elusive Tormentor requires us discarding a card, so having a lot of draw and card search is important for us. So we also ran Obnixilis, the +1 deals 1 point of damage to us, and we get to draw 1 card, and in -3 is also strong by destroying a creature, and the ultimate we are never going to see used in this deck. And our mana base, pretty simple, with lots of dual lands, basic lands, Westvale Abbey. Well, I put this in just in case, but in case we need some jump blocker sometimes, maybe it's decent. It could transform into the ornamental, but if a game goes so long, probably we have already found all our pieces. Then we have this cemetery and the evolving wilds for the tireless tracker. So let's watch a few games of this deck, and I hope you enjoy those. Until next time, sayonara. Let's go ahead. So one game that I hope you are not going to see, I'm going to edit out. I've just lost mostly because I decided to keep a really greedy hand with just 1 land, but also it showed me that one of our implements does not give you the option of not placing the +1/+1 counter. So if only the opponent has creatures, then you must place the +1/+1 counter on the opposing creatures. And well, let's say that if you are not having mana and you are buffing your opponent's creatures, it's probably not going to make an easy game. So here we are looking black for the implement of Malice, but we have the Elvish Visionary plus the Eldritch Evolution, so we can pull out our Elusive Tormentor without paying black mana, actually, which it's quite a deal for us. Only thing is that we probably want to leave up some untapped mana to flip the Tormentor in case the opponent attempts to kill her. So we have to be a bit cautious. And we have the Heirloom alright. So I think we are going to play the Okay, Elvish Visionary, draw an additional card. Hopefully she stays on the board and we go with the evolution. The Visionary can be killed rather easily, so we want to use the evolution as soon as possible. The opponent is now tapped, and this guy just produces mana. So there's one of these that could have killed Visionary. Now that we have two, I think I've changed my plans, because my second Elvish Visionary can be the target for the Eldritch Evolution. Alright, Primal Druid is fine. And we are going to drop the Heirloom. And now, by playing green and these cards, opponent might be thinking that we are going to attempt to go with some Werewolf, which we actually have, the Sasquatch Recruiter, but that's not the idea of the deck. Next turn I can Evolution and leave up one Forest or Westvale Abbey, for just in case our opponent tries to kill us. This guy I don't like to see. He's too strong for us. Transforms into a 4/4 first strike trample lifelink. And opponent with the Graph Rats probably wants to meld quite a few cards. So we are not blocking this, although this gives the opponent additional mana after the attack. So I don't know why he played the rats before. Maybe he missed something there. Okay, then. Now this is better than the forest. So let's do Cemetery, the Eldritch Evolution. I could try to equip. Nah, I think that's really too greedy for us. Here we go, Elusive Tormentor number 1. And we pass the turn. We are not going to equip the Neglected Heirloom yet. Now we have a Champ Blocker and our... Well, we are going to get there with our combo pieces. What to discard from the hand? Well, maybe the Primal Druid. Although, well, not sure. We can produce more blockers out of the Westvale Abbey. If the opponent has Brisela and manages to melt her, we are in trouble. But so far he requires more mana to get there. So the good thing is that we can flip the Elusive Tormentor if the opponent attempts something scary. He can use 2 removals. Okay, here this is going to try to kill the Elusive Tormentor, but we are going to save her and take the damage, of course. Opponent is escalating to kill also this guy. So what is this guy doing? Trample 2+1. Alright, so that is not going to kill her just yet. So continue. It's a 4/1. We cannot block with the mist side. What to do here? Well, all of these had trample. We could try to kill some of them by using Primal Bellow, but does not seem like the right move just yet. Now we discard the Primal Druid. Now this guy does not gain life. he does gain, yes, he did gain life. This provides 1 mana that is not used. Implement of Ferocity. Okay, let's do this first. We give the guy +1/+1. To flip her again, we need to pay too much mana that we don't currently have. And we of course want to equip the heirloom over this guy. So let's do the equipping just now. And I guess he's in Quagmire. We can swing for 2 because the opponent is going to be back. He's gaining life out of the Lone Rider. So if we swing here, opponent goes to 19. If opponent attacks with this and does not buff the Lone Rider, he goes back to 20. And that's our main goal, is to deal 20 damage in one single attack of the Insidious Mist. That should be flipping next turn, unless the opponent has a pretty scary board clear with Languish or something like that. But here we take 5, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go to 5, opponent goes to 20. So we have 7/7, 3 forest, not enough, regrettably. So attacking here is not going to provide us with enough power to defeat the opponent. The Ashmouth Blade, not good enough. I think we go Tireless Tracker plus Forest. Implement of Malice. And pass the turn and see what happens. I think we need to find another heirloom here, or more, of course, more forests. Nissa's Pilgrimage is going to put 2 more forests for us out there. So we trade, but we don't trade, we sacrifice the Tireless Tracker against this Conduit of Emrakul. We can actually kill this. If the opponent had the other piece for melding the Graph Rats, then we lose the game because all the creatures will have menace. So I guess he hasn't found it yet. Now he has additional mana, which could let him play Bruna. Oh, there she is. So this is a very greedy deck that I have tried actually myself, trying to meld everything. It's pretty funny. So I think we go with Pilgrimage first. Okay. Another forest over here. Another heirloom over there. And just swing. I think it's not going to be enough. Well, we have the +1/+1 counter. So 6 plus 4 from the equipments and the natural stats, plus the 1, 11, and the primal bellow. Oh, so a bunch of damage, but not enough, sadly. And I think we don't have the mana to pay the transformation even. Yeah. So This was a big loss. Again, let's just see what the opponent is holding in his hand. Yeah, nothing interesting. So let's concede and try again. Alright, Abasin, we are going to show you our stuff. So a little bit of games. I had the conclusion that the mana here is a problem, because in order to swing in with a full-fledged Tormentor, we need to transform her back. So we have 2 Quagmires and the Visionary. So by knowing that our deck is focused on drawing, I think this is a keepable hand. The thing is that we need to save 3 mana to flip the Mist back to the Tormentor. So that becomes a liability. We need to ramp up quite a lot in order to do our 1-turn kill. It's very exigent. Let's see if we can manage to pull out the mana first, and then we worry about killing the opponent. That means that the Tormentor is not coming down until later on the game. Quagmire can be used to put a little bit of pressure, and now the Hulk. I think I like having the Gear Hulk for the Tormentor. We draw. Okay, that's great, because as I said, we need to ramp. We ramp 1 and draw 1 basic from the deck, and that's kind of helpful. We don't want to be drawing basic lands all the time. So let's see if the opponent has something. Hissing Quagmire, a mirror match perhaps. Do you think the opponent is also trying to use a one-hit KO with the Elusive Tormentor, or is he trying to play with Planeswalkers and whatnot? It's a oversized deck that gives us little advantage. Here comes the Evolving Wilds, fetching a blue source. What do you think, guys? Is he going to pull out an island? No, it's a swamp. Interesting. Oh, Ronas's Monument. I was about to drop the Hissing Quagmire, but having Ronas's Monument makes our Gear Hulk pretty tempting. Therefore, what to do here? We can have a large Elvish Visionary for later, but go Ronas's. So far the opponent is going slow, which gives us some time. I think we have to play slow here. We don't have the other pieces for the Elusive Tormentor, so I think we just go with the Explosive Dissertation and Obia Pashiri. So what is the opponent going? Maybe he's about tokens. Nisa, why do you show up? Because you are so tempting. We can drop Nisa for just 2, leaving 2 mana up for us. I think we are going to wait for that, so we can flip Nisa right away. Swamp and Forest, and not swinging with our Visionary. What to do? We can play the Tormentor next, Gift of Paradise. Oh, here it was the blue land that I was thinking about, and now the opponent has Gift of Paradise, providing her with any colors, and acceleration for Obia. So maybe if he had enchanted differently, he could be activating Ovilla just now. The forest, so if I play Nissa for 2 and then drop a forest. Now the only thing is that we just waste one of the Rona's triggers on this. Yeah, no, I don't like the right. We flip Unisa. Let's swing first. I'm going to now. I think I wish to drop the Tormentor unless the opponent has Languish. That's a question. If the opponent runs Languishes, we might be losing our Tormentor, but there's another one somewhere in the deck. Let's plus our Nissa. Another life. I think we go with this instead of the Tormentor for the time being. We can also try to keep mana up for the Quagmire. Now this artifact lets us scry and we can draw by paying additional green when we play a creature. So if the opponent going to swing with the Quagmire, is quite likely. He wants to get rid of Nissa as soon as possible. And Ronas, when you cast. Okay. So Nissa goes to 1. We have to remember that the opponent can play some 2 mana instants. He has 5 cards. No, we don't want to have Evolving Wilds. Well, now we might have. Maybe we regret that now, but I think we are going to drop the Tormentor first. But let's start by doing the Nissas first. The journal is great. So, but we are going to go Tormentor, buffing the Visionary, and we draw the Heirloom. So instead of Tireless Tracker, we are going to use the Heirloom here, and we are going to drop his Quagmire, swing with the Elvish Visionary. So now we have a nice blocker for the Hissing Quagmire. So the opponent needs something really big to kill Nissa. That probably is the primary goal at this stage. Anguished Making on. Okay, stop. We're going to flip her. I think we are done with the journal. We don't really care at this stage. Now this guy has hexproof. Opponent can still try to use a Languish to remove the Insidious Mist from the board, but he's just going with the Hissing Quagmire so he can remove Nissa. We cannot block with the Insidious Mist, but I think we have an interesting attack going on here. So for playing these 2, so do we have the mana? That's the question. Let's keep this guy on top. We are going to begin with this. This is 1 mana for you. This is costing 4. So if we want to save 3 mana, we just need. We have 5 mana remaining. I think we can buff with a Tireless Tracker and this. Not yet. That's Watch Recruiter 2. There you go. Do not pay. Drop a forest. So this is 4 mana, providing 4+1/+1 counters on this. But if we flip her, we gain the initial stat plus the neglected heirloom. We're left with 2 mana to open the clue, or perhaps flipping the Dustwatch Recruiter. So let's swing with the Mist. We are going to be asked if we want to flip her, and we are going to say yes. And we swing for 11. Well, not quite what the 1 turn kill, but still pretty powerful. Now the opponent has 5 cards and I think enough mana to play anything he wants to. So we have to be on the lookout. Probably we might have to flip the Tormentor again. Let's see if he wants to exile the Tormentor. Okay, he wants to. So let's activate this. Goodbye, Gear Hulk. It's a pity, but we want to save the Tormentor, and the opponent leaves the game for understandable reasons, because he cannot deal with the Insidious Mist. I think he has a Planeswalker's deck after all. Do not want that. Primal Druid to buff. We can use the Recruit once. We can open the clue, but I think the Dustwatch Recruiter is better here. If we find a creature. Okay, Elvish Visionary for 1. Buffing up the Insidious Mist. Pay another green, or do I pay? I regret doing this, but well, I shouldn't have paid. Okay, doesn't matter. Anyways, we had the game, but I think I shouldn't have paid there. 7-8. Okay, swing with this. I think we could try to find more buff for the Tormentor, but do we really want to do that? There we go. Another 11-11, and that game. So I think it's enough of this idea. I hope you have enjoyed, and we'll be seeing next decks pretty soon. Sayonara.